Hurricane Katrina was one of the U.S.'s deadliest storms. It began on August 23rd and ended on August 31st, 2005. The disaster killed 1,833 people and destroyed more than 200,000 homes, mainly affecting New Orleans, Mississippi, and southern Florida. This video will go over the long-term effects of such a hurricane to the surrounding area and community. Not only that, but I will also cover the cause, initial impact, and the interactions between the different spheres of Earth caused by the disaster. Hurricane Katrina was the result of interactions between a tropical wave, upper-level trough, and the mid-level remains of a tropical depression 10, all of which are various strong winds occurring in the atmosphere. A tropical depression formed on August 23rd on the Gulf Coast and moved northwestward, becoming Tropical Storm Katrina the next day. It escalated to Hurricane Katrina on August 25th. On August 28th, the hurricane reached Category 5 intensity, meaning the maximum sustained winds were at least 156 miles per hour, and there is a high chance of death once near the hurricane's vicinity. On August 29th, it moved northward and the hurricane caused a landfall near Burris, Louisiana with maximum winds estimated at 125 miles per hour. Continuing north, Hurricane Katrina made a second landfall on the border of Louisiana and Mississippi, with max winds at around 120 miles per hour. The next day, the hurricane weakened to a tropical depression over Tennessee Valley. After a week of destruction, Hurricane Katrina finally became an extratropical low and was absorbed by a frontal zone later that day over the eastern Great Lakes. Hurricane Katrina caused 1,883 deaths, mostly in Louisiana. There is catastrophic damage to structures, with surge damage extending to several miles inland. It overflowed levees in New Orleans City, forcing most of the city and its eastern suburbs to evacuate. Wind damage reached northern Mississippi and Alabama, and wind and water damage affected Miami-Dade and Broward counties. Over the course of the hurricane, many news stations were destroyed and lost power or communications. Thousands of houses were flooded, trees were broken, and land masses were altered. It also destroyed Gulf oil platforms, which mined oil from the ocean floor. An additional 57 tornadoes were spawned from Hurricane Katrina. These places were all affected by Hurricane Katrina, demonstrating its widespread impact.
Long-term effects on the biosphere include everyone who died, reduced oil production and profit, and damaged structures and cities. It also prompted governments to reinforce structures like levees to better resist hurricanes. Additionally, vegetation and land shape were permanently altered in southern Louisiana wetlands, affecting both the biosphere and geosphere. Due to the hurricane, many areas, especially beaches, went through a significant change in land formation. These changes resulted in decreased gas production and an overall decline in the economy. The damage caused by Hurricane Katrina cost at least $150 billion to repair, making it the most expensive hurricane in U.S. history. As jobs were lost, the housing market decreased, gas prices spiked, and the closed New Orleans ports heavily affected the shipping industry. The rest of the country was also impacted, as their money was needed to help mitigate damage and help repair. All of this was caused by the hurricane, an interaction between the hydrosphere and atmosphere.
There are a lot of connections. Hurricane Katrina itself is the result of interactions between a tropical wave, upper-level trough, and tropical depression. The wind and rain, which is part of the atmosphere and hydrosphere, interacted to form a hurricane, which affected the biosphere and geosphere.
Rain from the hydrosphere caused levees and floodwalls in New Orleans to overflow, and also flooded houses caused major power outages and drowned plants, affecting the technosphere and biosphere. The biosphere also affected the hydrosphere, as flooded houses dispersed chemicals into waterways. Flooding meant there was little clean water left to be used, and it spoiled food. The flood also forced New Orleans to fix their water pumps so the city could drain.
The combination of geosphere and hydrosphere in the form of heavy rain, mudslides, and surging currents destroyed Gulf oil platforms and pipelines that bring out gas from the ocean floor, making the companies lose money and gas prices to increase. It also caused oil spills, affecting animals in the biosphere of the ocean.
Strong wind in the atmosphere caused trees to fall down, which in turn affected animals and killed humans, especially those driving. Additionally, the wind caused erosion of the geosphere of coastal wetlands and freshwater marshes, permanently altering the landmass in southern Louisiana. High winds triggered several landfalls, killing wildlife and damaging structures. It also spawned a tornado outbreak of 57 tornadoes across 8 states.
Hurricane Katrina caused approximately 1,900 deaths and $81 billion in structural damage. The health risks on the biosphere are notable as well, as the breeding ground was made for mosquitoes and the flooding caused mold to grow and endotoxin bacteria levels to rise, making it even more dangerous for humans to live in affected areas.